un estándar de la puertorriqueñidad.
It was scrappy. We did fundraising. We did, print sales. Like Fraixa donated prints that we could send to people, and we put it together, and it was really a labor of love. Yeah.
Thank you.
Podcast.
Yes.
And it turned into a film.
Yeah, it was an initial conversation. There was a printmaking conference being held in San Juan that Fraixa was really instrumental in organizing, and because they mentioned we had the podcast, she's like, "Oh, we should do a live podcast." And somehow in the course of that conversation, it turned into a documentary.
You also have another documentary of Oaxaca, right?
Yes,
Mexican print, which is Oaxaca.
Yeah.
What's the name of the?
Grabando Oaxaca.
Grabando Oaxaca.
And
So it's another of her productions of her whatever movie documentary series. So she's got 2 so far. So we're pretty pumped.
Yeah.
There's also like a connection there too, because a lot of printmaking came from Mexico, right? Tufiño studied
Yes, well, a lot of the
printmaking in Mexico.
printmakers, like Tufiño went to study in Mexico,
Right.
Carlos Raquel studied at the Art Students League,
My
Tony was there, his father, which is Carlos Marichal, met my mother in Mexico, and my parents got married there, then he moved to Puerto Rico. So here we go. Poli also comes from that trajectory like myself. And also Alexis Figueroa that you have here, his great-great-grandfather was one of the most greatest painter of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
His name was Juan Rosado. You could Google him. And I knew his great-grandmother and all his uncle and all of that, and he was very good. He did the carnival also in Puerta de Tierra, because he was right there in Puerta de Tierra. So he comes from a lot of history. So you want to later ask everybody questions, this is the people you have to go to. With Poli, it's the same thing with her mom. She was in theater. Her 2 sisters are in theater and storytelling also. And curating, and she's Flavia runs the University of Puerto Rico Museum. And Poli is very, very well known. She is part of Consejo Gráfico, which is an organization of printmakers in the United States that are also Chicano. We are in 15 different printmakers. She was from Los Angeles.
I'm going to pay you to promote me.
Yeah. So anyway, she could talk a little bit about herself and about that trajectory with Los Angeles and the Consejo Gráfico and the other printmaker big in Los Angeles. Yes, she could talk about that so you could get an idea.
I wanted to add that Hello Print Friend has a website, and you can see some of the documentaries, the Oaxaca documentary there, and you can see all the activities they do. It's amazing, and the Oaxaca film is really beautiful.
So they were mentors. I mean, my mentor in Mexico when I went to the La Escuela de San Carlos with the University of Mexico was Leopoldo Mendez, who was with the Taller de Gráfica Popular. So I had a very good beginning with him, and also Omar and a lot of the other printmakers in Puerto Rico. I learned a lot from them. You know, so that is the school. We come from that school. We are all from that school. That's what we represent. And also, Taller Boricua is that school. We are sort of like the Bajos movement, the Germans, so we're the Puerto Rican, that's what we're called in everything. So we're part of that, so we will continue doing the fight. So I would like to Fraixa talk a little bit about her work.
Hi guys, thank you for coming. I graduated from Escuela de Artes Plásticas. I majored in printmaking, of course. My director was Aide Landing, so I had what are my masters? Well, they were the apprentice of the masters. You saw Luis Abraham. He studied, or he was the apprentice of Lorenzo Man. So I was just so surrounded by all these people who just kept giving me and feeding me information. And how could I say make them stop? No, that's impossible. I just fell more in love. So what I mainly do now, I do relief prints, and I'm really into printing in fabric, textiles, and I'm beginning to do embroidery on them, but mainly relief print. When I was in university, trying to set up the workshop is kind of, it's a whole thing. We're trying to get back into intaglio because that's what I was really focused in university. And then apart from that, I also do a bunch of collaborative work, like Mita and Miranda mentioned. I helped coordinate the Southern Graphic Council conference in Puerto Rico. It was a big thing. It was delayed like, I don't know how many times. It was for 2020, and you guys know. Yeah, it was a whole thing. And then it happened last year. We were working like a whole year. I was prepping for that, and it was intense because, who am I to ask places to be open to exhibit work and have confidence in me that I can do this. But it really turned out into this really amazing show. We had a very important exhibition at the museum where I work, which is the Museum of San Juan, with La Jornadas del Grabado. It's a big printmaking collective that it's been 22 years running. Me and Poli are part of it. So yeah, it was very gratifying in a bunch of ways, and I've just been doing a bunch of collaborative things. I've worked with La Liga de Arte, which is like my second home. I love them, and I've made a festival of printmaking just to make print accessible to people, because it is really accessible. You don't really need that many tools. So it was like, you can take free workshops and do, if you register, you can find out about a bunch of mediums that can also go well with print, like book arts or letterpress. We don't really have letterpress, but I managed to do crazy things. But yeah, I'm really into collaborative work and just expanding, not just having spaces, galleries, but like showing people that they can be included in these spaces, and also like showing students that there is a world possible for them. It's gonna be tough, it's gonna be hard. Like, I don't know most of the things I'm doing, but you can make it happen. So yeah, that's like part of what I do. Trying to make my master's work. Yeah, I'm doing my master's in the University of Puerto Rico. So that's like something very important to me, because we were talking about like having loyalty to the university. So yeah, I'm doing it there.
Right now going on, right?
There's a student strike right now. But yeah, I'm really passionate about it, so I think it's the last name. I think it's the Albizu. But yeah, I'm very grateful. I got teary-eyed seeing the documentary and seeing all you and hearing like the comments. Like, I probably will cry after this. I'm very grateful to everyone.
Puerto Ricans, we're Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to tell everybody that we have, you mentioned Vieques, we started a group, Sandra, stand up and come here and talk to them about Vieques. She's an artist from Vieques. We started a print shop in Vieques. Very important to have that connection from New York, Vieques, Puerto Rico. I told Poli, they're there. I go once in a while with Mirna Pagan. These are the Connellys who fought a lot to get the Navy out of Vieques. Rocky Mendez, all kinds, people. We went there and we really fought a lot with them, but she lives in Vieques. She knows what the story is. Yeah. She's part of the Connelly, so now there's a group. There's about 20 artists there doing printmaking. They don't have a place. The Institute of Puerto Rican Culture had El Fuerte. Yeah. But because of the hurricane and all that, it got destroyed. So it's been very, very kind of hard for them to get together. So they get together in somebody's house, another house, and that's how they do the printmaking. But we will continue con la huella y el carimbo. So also I want Alexis to talk about his collection.
Well, I'm an art dealer, so I started collecting, and then it kind of got out of control. I quit my job and I started selling art. But my first purchase was a cartel by Lorenzo Mal called El Cartel in Puerto Rico, which is an exhibition that they did in the 70s. And I still have that sucker. I saw it the other day. I have like 100,000 million prints, and I pulled a thing and I saw it. I'm like, oh my god, it's here. But yeah, I collect and I sell, and I try to put the carteles in homes of people that really want to preserve them, and it's like a honor to do it because it, you know, it's a legacy that we have to keep pushing. And you know, they did such a great work with such little materials or whatever, you know. And now you see the carteles from the 50s. They're very simple, they're very straight to the point, and then you see people trying to overdo stuff and overprint, and it doesn't work. You don't need much to communicate, you know. It was La DIVEDCO was something to promote culture, to promote education, to promote social programs. So people would get educated, they would go to school, they would learn how to read. So the carteles, I was telling Miranda earlier, the early carteles from La DIVEDCO were aimed at the people from rural areas that didn't go to school. There were no schools in Puerto Rico in the 40s. Like, they were just in the metro area. But in the campo, they were all jibaros. They didn't know, they were taught by their parents how to speak. No one could write. So all the carteles from the early 50s, they're like only like 3 colors, and they only have like so many words, probably 2 to 3, 4 words tops. And the image would be what the words were, so the people who didn't know could figure it out by themselves and go like, oh, this is a house, so this word should mean house.
They also made like pamphlets, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, be careful with the mosquitoes and things like that.
They made the carteles, they made
Booklets.
booklets.
By
That's the
the
word.
best writers, René Marquez, Emilio Díaz Barcárcel, Pedro Juan Soto.
So they would
I
make
mean,
the
Muñoz
booklets.
Marín was smart in picking the best.
Of course,
Yeah.
why not?
And also, this is a program run by the government,
Yeah.
but they were never corporate or government people.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were independentistas,
Yeah.
and they never punched the card.
Yeah.
And that was the trade that they did with the Muñoz
And they also
Marín.
did these films that were wonderful.
And the films,
Yeah.
all the
Films made
films.
with almost nothing, mostly with non-actors.
Right.
And those films, some of them won best film at the Venice Film
The Festival de Venecia, they won the prize.
So-
Amilcar Tirado won the
Yeah,
prize,
Amilcar.
and they all celebrated the stories about that.
Yeah, so it was a full program, as they're saying, like they have pamphlets so people would learn. The pamphlets had the writings by the best
The best
Writers
writer, René
and
Soto.
novelists and theater guys, and the artists would do the illustrations for the art. So when people would read them, it's really simple language. No words that are really, they would lower their intellectual level to match the people they were talking to, which is to me is amazing.
Because si era para el pueblo, it had to be the best.
And they also gave
Right.
workshops
And they gave workshops in libraries when they created el Centro de Arte. They used to go to the libraries. Torre Martino and Omar used to go and give classes to children. They used to go to the schools. I mean, they just went everywhere. Trying to promote, and through that promotion and the things they did, that's how they started promoting the carteles, the small
And
graphics.
they also organize communities in
Events.
the neighborhood.
Events, right,
And
yes,
those communities
fairs.
are still working
They
today.
used to have shows in la plaza, like in Plaza de Armas, they would show all the paintings.
No,
And then they-
carnavales, todo, they would.
Yeah, and then they used to ask the people, say which do you think is the best, and then that person would win the prize because the people said so.
People's vote.
People's vote. It was really amazing. It was very an enriching time in Puerto Rico. But also, Alexis does a lot of activism because he has La Cabra, and I love it because he takes talk about the trolley going around the different galleries and all of that.
Yeah, I like a few months ago there was a thing called in the 80s in San Juan. Martes de Galería, Martes, the Tuesdays of galleries, right?
Yeah.
So the Tuesday was the day that nothing happened in San Juan. The bars were closed mostly or closed early. There was nothing to do. So some genius went like, all right, let's open all the galleries up and let's give beer and booze and food and have people come and hang out and meet the artists and meet the writers. There were musicians. They were like the whole cultural scene would go.
Yeah.
So it started in the late 80s, right, with Luigi Matrosini. There's like the galleries in San Juan, and it lasted till like 2000s because I went to drink. I didn't see art. I was an alcoholic, and I would go bar hopping in the galleries, which led to them being closed because it got out of hand. And people would go to drink. All the students would get out of school at 6 and go get like completely hammered. It was free wine, no ID. It's like you just walk in, get a bump. So we got out of hand, fights, and so they closed it down and nobody ever done it after. So I'm like, all right, we're growing up people now. I learned from my mistakes. So I organize now Martes de Galería in Santurce because of the gentrification. All the galleries and all the artists have been pushed out of San Juan. So they moved right to the side to Santurce, which is like right next door, where buildings were like $2. And you could actually pay rent, and now it's already getting gentrified, so they're moving now. But I organized like 30 galleries and artist studio to open the first Tuesday of every month from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. I get some collectors to give me money, so we have 2 trolleys going around free of charge. You park at the museum for free. You get in the trolley and they go around in a closed circuit loop, and there's 10 stops, and in each stops you can see 4 galleries, artists, and whatever. And the restaurants are opening till 12, so people after they're done there, they can go eat. So it's like, it's pretty awesome. There's like 600 people coming already. So
it's a lot of fun because some of the galleries have musicians that play jazz. Others have bomba plena. And you could go around and it's a fun. I had a lovely time.
You had fun, I can tell.
I have fun, plus I like looking at the new work that new artists are doing. So
you're welcome to come and read.
So this is really great. So anyway, I want to open it up to the public. Do you have any questions?
I have questions. And I have several questions, but we're going to finish with you. But I want to bring out some of the points that came out in the documentary, which to you in particular is, what came out is, this isn't a hobby. This isn't just a passion project. That hopefully with your generation, that we're fostering professionals. How are you paying for your bread and butter and the roof over your shoulders? So to continue doing this fine work. So it's a question specifically to the 2 of you.
Well, I have many jobs.
Let's start counting. Let's start teaching.
Constructing, making pizza, waiting tables. I have done a lot. Right now, being a dad. Right now, I'm a visual art teacher at an elementary school in San Juan. Most of the past decade, I have done that besides making art. But yeah, it is hard. Also, it has the benefit that because I don't depend on selling art or for me to live, I can make whatever I want, which is usually something that the government doesn't like, or the gallery, because my art is either you agree with what I'm saying or you don't. So I like to put the spectator on the spot, and it's very political, and I have left tendencies, and people get uncomfortable. They feel uncomfortable about that. Which I don't know why. Like for me, it's just like common sense, a lot of these things. But yeah, I'm kind of like the radical artist in the art scene, right?
Because they're all stupid.
But yeah, like Javi said, we wear a lot of hats. I'm very grateful that I get to be a professor in the University of Puerto Rico, and I also get to educate through the Museum of San Juan and La Liga. So to me, you know, it pays the bills. It helps. But more gratifying, you know, than that, is getting that contact with people. Like in the documentary, there's people who absolutely don't know. Like they see a relief print, serigrafía. They see a libro, serigrafía. They see a polygraph, serigrafía. I'm like, okay, let's do it, let's change. And then I always try to like talk about Tufiño, man, this is so, cause in Puerto Rico you can see their art mostly everywhere. Like they're just not paying attention, you know? So to me is that trying to help them reshape their brain and their observational skills. And I really like teaching. It sometimes gets intense.
I don't know, but I love teaching.
I think that's
the second best thing.
Yeah, apart from making.
But
like Javi said, it gives us freedom to do what we want.
And I promise I'm gonna open it up to the room. Mark Torreira in the documentary, who God to so many of us in this room, said un punto bien clave, that said this is the best time in history for art, literature, theater, and so on, during the worst time politically, economically, socially.
It truly is.
So to me, art is social policy. When you say I'm a radical leftist or seen as such with my artwork, but how do you, social advocacy is so embedded in art. What do you think about the statement he made?
I think he's right. Right? Like we have so many tools to expose our art nowadays, like social media and all that stuff. Also, I think a lot of people are doing art that, like, it's okay, like you don't have to make political art, but also there has to be a distinction where you're doing this, you really have something to say, you know, versus people that do it just for the fun of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like if there's a field that we stand out as Puerto Ricans more than even in baseball, it would be in the art scene. We have such incredible artists, such talented artists. Like in every major exhibition this year, I think we have at least one Puerto Rican. So I think we're really good, and I'm very proud of us.
Yeah, and it's very true what Mark Torres says. Like, I've been seeing a bunch of new groups, collectives, even if they don't have a studio space set up because it's hard setting up and renting. There's still people doing exhibitions, doing prints out. Every time something happens, you see wheat paste all over. So that's something. Even though we don't have Taller Vija, Taller Seco, Alacrán, you know, all those other print shops.
We got the new guys. We got the
We have so many.
Malaquita. We got the new ones.
Malaquita.
And they're rough. They do a lot of, we paste a lot. And really good stuff, like really political stuff that.
There's a new movement, not a new movement, but a resurfacing of Afro-Caribbean, which is super important.
Actually, Malaquita was the one that popularized the black and white flag of Puerto Rico.
Yes. So, a woman-run print and ceramic and painting workshop. So, it's very true what Marta
So,
says.
I have somebody that has a question. Is it Betty? Anybody has a question?
We also have the Las Jornadas del Grabado Puerto Rico. There were 36 printmakers. Most of our work has to do with the political situation or the ecological situation or social. So it's a very politically aware movement. And we give workshops all over the island. Right now we're having a show at the Museo de los Próceres in Cabo Rojo. And a show that we also had in San Juan that was, we did portraits of Afro-Puerto Rican artists, writers, all the people who have contributed to Puerto Rican culture to make them more known, because some people have forgotten. So we did all these people, and there are right now at the Museo de los Próceres about more than 30 prints. Some of them are large scale. I did one of Silvia del Villar, it's 6 feet tall. And so did Aidela Ding, we did and so we've done all these big prints about Afro-Puerto Rican artists, and everything, politicians, artists, musicians, we're celebrating their contribution to our culture.
Yeah.
So I think we're very active. It's not like recostados en los laureles.
Yeah, they're so out. There's talleres Malaquita if you want to write them down so you can follow them on Instagram and learn about their craft.
Yeah.
La serigráfica.
La serigráfica, Tallera Central, la
There's-
muchacha, Moribibi, Colectivo Moribibi.
Moribibi.
¿Quién más?
I mean, there are a lot of
Con la
them.
cena, la jornada.
Cifros.
Taller La Cena, with
Yeah.
Yolanda was doing such
En la ciénaga. Yeah.
Bemba in Mayagüez.
Bemba.
Those are hardcore, you're gonna love those.
What did you say was the name of your entity
It's
or?
called Las Jornadas del Grabado Puertorriqueño. It's been around for more than 20 years. Actually, we're now like on our 23rd year.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
La Rosa Rivera runs the.
Yeah, she's, well, she used more now, it's a
She's
Migdalia, yeah. But
ex-president,
Ana Rosa
but
is
she's
one of
there.
the founders. Ana Rosa, Migdalia, and Yolanda.
And Yolanda.
3 women and we're the founders.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as a fellow printmaker,
Uh-huh.
Nitsa has been, my mentor since I started doing printmaking, so thank you, Nitsa, and thank you everyone for coming and doing this historical day here at our print shop. So as a fellow printmaker, the challenges that we all have, trying to think of ideas, communicating, material, as an extension of DIVEDCO, right? Because we're
Yeah.
continuing that legacy.
Yeah.
What do you see as the challenges as an artist? I know we have like Amazon, but I know trying to send things from the States to Puerto Rico, it gets lost sometimes. You have to wait days, sometimes weeks to get, whether it be paper, whether it be ink. How do you go about those challenges?
Well, there are several art stores that supply, in Puerto Rico. There's one in Ponce that's really good and they deliver. And they usually have a lot of stuff. So it's, and in San Juan we have about 3 art stores that are okay. And there's also the paper companies. So, hasn't been a hindrance so far.
So there's a lot of donations.
We always
like,
find,
we know all each other, so there's always someone like, Rogelio Arbega was the other day, hey, I have a bunch of papers, do you want them? Like,
Yeah, we're
I don't
always
need them anymore,
salvaging
they're
stuff
gonna.
too, so I mean.
And I was like, yeah, give them.
I
So
usually-
the island is self-sufficient itself, it's self-helping
Yeah,
itself.
because
We're not
the
dependent on.
network is strong, so we help each other.
I think the biggest challenge that I see is access to studios,
Yeah.
but they're all academic. So having access to a press that doesn't belong to the Escuela de Plásticas, and I don't have to, go through all that bureaucracy just to print something for the festival. I think that will be the greatest obstacle. But there are other spaces who are beginning to be more accessible. There are people who are getting smaller presses to share. So I mean, you can't do big things. There you have to contact special people or like masters or whatever that they have. Those
I know like
books,
Ramon Luis in Bayamon, he gives artists in residency spaces.
Yeah.
And he has a couple of presses.
I have
But
a small-
I think that more of the different towns, what happens a lot, not San Juan is getting very expensive. Like
Yeah.
people like to live out in the island. I mean, some kind of thing needs to happen where those other places could get presses. Because it's very hard to get a press from New York to over there.
Oh,
yeah.
It's very
We
expensive.
have
Yeah.
two German letterpresses.
Yeah.
Garvin has them in his house.
Yeah.
They were mine, and they're huge. They're like a ton each.
I wanna also that today is one of the poets that I like, Oloyoan, is here. It's his birthday. And also, I would like to thank our CEO from NICA. He's here, Richard Izquierdo. Thank you, because he's the one that had the vision, and that's where we're in this space now. And we're moving forward with a lot of other stuff. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Oh, you have a question? Okay.
if it's the last one. Does this movement or this enthusiasm spread to the other Caribbean islands? And if so, have you collaborated with them?
That's a great question. Like from my experience, I think there's more collaboration between like the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and maybe Cuba than we do with the other
It's
smaller Antilles
Also
islands.
because of the language barrier.
Yes, but do
But
they have?
I've been to Cuba with, Cuban
Yeah, Cuba.
printmakers, we participated in this big portfolio dedicated to Lorenzo Mar. The Cubans did a portfolio and the Puerto Ricans did, and we exhibited together. The exhibition went to Cuba, then it went to Puerto Rico, so, and we, there's a,
There's a connection because we have a print shop here. We collaborate with el taller de gráfica experimental, la de actores Brito. So I collaborate with them and we have had exhibits and stuff like that. But now with the situation in Cuba, it's very hard, but we still have those
yeah, Pepe
connections.
Coronado and us.
Pepe is in Austin. Also, Alioski was supposed to be here today. He's here. Where is Alioski? Get up! Say something about Cuba. About the printmaking, how we collaborate and all of that with other printmakers that are in Cuba and out of Cuba. We've been doing stuff with them, our print shop.
Also,
And Taller Boricua.
Taller Malaquita had one of the members, part of her family is from República Dominicana, and she goes, Rosenda, she goes like every couple of months, goes there, gives workshops, always brings stuff. So there's a constant communication. When there was, I'm gonna suck at this, but there was a situation happening in Haiti. They were doing they were just doing events to help fund and just created an exchange through that. So
and they also work with also work in Central America, in Guatemala, and Honduras.
So there's definitely
so there's a lot of content.
So
They're all women.
How about non-speak English? The islands that are non-Spanish speaking, have you collaborated or?
until now, no.
No, because it's the problem is the language barrier, especially the French islands. It's a little harder. But the British islands is the problem is
Martinique, yes.
the plane tickets to go to those islands are expensive,
Yeah.
It's incredible, we're so close to there, but because it's a tourist hub, the tickets are expensive and most artists in Puerto Rico don't have the means to,
And usually, let me explain something for you that don't know anything about doing portfolios. Portfolios are done with a theme, and you get artists to participate on those portfolios. When those portfolios get finished and they get done, once you have, if you are an artist in Martinique or wherever, or in Texas, wherever, you have to send at least the paper to the artist. When those portfolios get put together, that artist that gave a piece receives the portfolio. The rest that is done, that's what gets sold. But each artist that is, if it's a 20 artist portfolio, each artist is gonna get that portfolio. That's how, or the institution gets a portfolio. That's how it's done, and that's how it's generated and it's sent around so that the work is being done. So paper is expensive because we use arches, or we use very expensive paper. They gotta have a press, but usually, we pick artists that are pretty much, and we collaborate.
I participated in the Caribbean, is when I did a portfolio with this woman from Canada, and she lived in Aruba. So she connected people from here. So I was one from Puerto Rico, there was a person from Aruba. She participated, there was someone from Martinique. So it was a portfolio that basically had many participants from the Caribbean and also from the States and some other places, because it was a sort of international portfolio on ecology. So each artist had to work with a scientist about on the subject of ecology and conservation. And I worked with Antonio Minucci, who works with the manatees out there. You know,
Oh, Minucci,
training
yes.
manatees, so,
Yeah.
so I did a print about a manatee. And,
Well, we're doing a big project. We're doing a big project with Minucci for the convention center,
yeah.
where all the scientists are coming. So our taller is doing all the prints for that in October.
Yeah.
So we'll be seeing each other. So anyway, thank you all for coming.
I have one question, and I wouldn't have raised my hand if I didn't really want to ask it, but I know you guys make portfolios together, but as artists all working towards a similar cause, like how do you stay cohesive and continue to collaborate as a group? Because from what I've seen, sometimes it's easy for, if everybody's working on similar projects, like one person can splinter off and do their own stuff, especially with social media, much more easily these days. And I'm wondering, how do you guys stay cohesive and continue to collaborate as artists enough where you all still know each other and you all still work together and you're all still doing a lot of the same projects?
But like in life, you choose your friends. You choose the artist that you know is not gonna go do the bad thing.
And one thing that I found with printmakers in particular, more than with other artists, is the spirit of collaboration.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the spirit of
It's a
collaboration.
commitment.
Yeah.
It's a commitment. It's a
part of
want to
what-
do, and
I
you
think
never
it's
fail.
because we're small.
Rain or shine or whatever, you do it and you finish the edition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how it's
And
done.
we all help each other. There's a
Yeah.
spirit of,
Yeah.
like, you know, sometimes like I don't have a big press, so I needed to do a big print, so I don't call this friend who has a big
Yeah,
press.
exactly.
"Oh, no more." So that thing with the generosity, because the fact that printmaking, you make an edition and you have enough prints to share. Like I trade a lot with other artists. It doesn't happen with painters because
Yeah.
they only paint one.
You don't try painting.
Yeah, it's everything that everyone said is so real. Like, I have a organization, it's called Ciclos Gráficos, and I remember it started in the pandemic and there was a need to reconnect because we were so isolated.
Yeah.
So there's always gonna be that. It doesn't, like, there's always gonna be people who drift off, and there's always gonna be the need to, like, hunker down and, like, I need the workshop mentality, team, and, like, working situation, like, atmosphere together. And you just
Atmosphere,
somehow,
atmosphere and getting together and understanding each other, that we're for the same thing,
Yeah.
and the quality of the work has to be great. And that's what keeps you together.
Yeah. And it's what's kept people doing
Yeah.
things.
Lisa, just a closing question to the filmmaker. For someone a filmmaker who made a beautiful Valentine about the art scene in Puerto Rico, what for you was the most gratifying part of this process, or in the film that you captured?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the process, it's being able to do things like this, being able to see it received, and being able to see the excitement on people's faces of what we made. Because it's, the creative process in almost any medium can be a little isolating, and you're kind of in this, process where you're just really talking to yourself, maybe a few other people, and you're so close to it. And so to see it, your little baby out in the world, and to see it land with people, that means that sort of experience of shouting into the void that can be the creative process when you hear that story landed. It makes me emotional. It's an incredible experience to know that, like, across that boundary, we made a connection.
Yeah, I found it fascinating that she's an American. She's, you're an American. And we're like Puerto Ricans, and this is a project that could have been done, that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. By anyone in Puerto Rico. Anyone could have done it. Like, there's a ton of filmmakers, a ton of people that would collaborate, and she had the balls to go like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do it. Nobody's done it, let's do it. And it's awesome. It's refreshing that she's so awesome. It's really cool for her to do this.
Yeah, just two comments, especially to the producer. I would love to see the film again right now. And if that's possible, and I think that everyone would enjoy it, and now having listened to participants. But one thing that, and Maria Dominguez, a very important muralist, an artist of there is a conversation about Antillana art, which would include the República Dominicana, Puerto Rico, and Cuba.
Yeah.
We have a Dominican, the Dominican York Gráfico, what is it? El Cubano, ahí en la esquina, and of course all the others, the Dominican makers. One thing that's important that Maria did mention about the language, when I started speaking to the Dominican printmakers, they were saying, pero Haití está en la española. But it's the problem with our, it's a different culture, different language, and that creates a problem. Anyway, I'd love to see the film again.
Yep.
Yeah.